Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cult Movie Tuesdays right here on Night Owl Video. Today I'm talking about Red Sonja, which is cool because I just reviewed Conan the Barbarian yesterday. I should have probably planned it so that I did Conan the Destroyer this week as well, but it wasn't in the cards. But yeah, I picked this movie to review for today for Cult Movie Tuesday, so I hope you stick around. We'll be talking about production, cast and crew, critical response, my thoughts on the film, and all that jazz. So thank you to everybody who's recently subscribed. I'm now over 460 subscribers, on my way to 500. So I know it's like it goes by so fast, and every time I hit like another 100 milestone, I think I got to do some special content for you. But when I do 500, I guess I'm gonna have to do something special. So I have not also gotten any suggestions from you guys. So if you have a suggestion for a video, if you want me to, I did go through, I think in one of my other milestones, I went through all my horror Blu-rays. I could go through my horror DVDs, I suppose, but I feel like that would probably be a couple of videos. But I'll figure it out when we get there. The movie we're talking about today is Red Sonja. This is a sword and sorcery film from 1985, directed by Richard Fleischer, who also directed Fantastic Voyage, Soylent Green, and Conan the Destroyer. Yeah. This stars Brigitte Nielsen. This was her film acting debut. She was also in another movie I really liked, Cobra, with Sylvester Stallone. And speaking of Stallone, she was also in Rocky IV. I think she was also married to Stallone, if I'm not mistaken. This also stars Sandahl Bergman, who was in Conan the Barbarian, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was also in Conan the Barbarian, although they're playing different characters in this movie. But there was always this kind of talk that this was like the unofficial third installment of the Conan series, but he's Arnie is playing a different character. I think his name is Calidor, but he's not Conan in this movie. But it's definitely kind of that ilk, if you will. So the synopsis for Red Sonja is power-hungry Queen Gedren, played by Sandahl Bergman, captures the priestesses guarding the talisman, a mystical orb that created and can destroy the world. But one of the priestesses escapes and seeks out her warrior sister, Red Sonja, played by Brigitte Nielsen, to warn her about Gedren's plan for world domination. Lord Calidor, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, the talisman's keeper, insists on helping Sonja, and though she scorns the assistance of any man, she soon gains respect for Calidor's fighting prowess. So, yeah. If you like Conan, you probably would like this. It's definitely in that same genre. But yeah, this is based also on a character created by Robert E. Howard. Of course, he also created Conan the Barbarian, so there is a bit of similarity there, a bit of crossover. The budget for this film was $17.9 million, and the box office was only $6.9 million, so this movie was a box office disappointment, which is kind of surprising because this genre was so popular at the time, but maybe because it's a female character and not Arnie leading the charge. Maybe, I don't know, people just weren't interested. It was the 80s, it was a different time, but yeah, this movie was a bit of it was a box office disappointment. A film adaptation of Red Sonja was first announced in 1983 with Ralph Bakshi directing. Production was pushed back for a year, and Bakshi was replaced by Richard Fleischer. So that would have been really weird to have Ralph Bakshi direct that. I'm so, when I read that, I was so curious to imagine what that could have been. Anyway, I don't know if you're like me. I'm like a bit of a nerd, like when it comes to those things, and I always try to imagine, like, there was talk that David Lynch was going to direct Return of the Jedi back in '83, to the point where he actually met with George Lucas and stuff. Though he got a terrible headache from that meeting. But just imagine what Return of the Jedi would have been if David Lynch had directed it. So this was originally going to be directed by Ralph Bakshi, who of course did like Wizards and Fire and Ice, and I think he did the Lord of the Rings animated movie as well as The Hobbit, I think. But he's got a very unique style as well, so could have been very interesting. Sandahl Bergman was offered the role of Red Sonja but turned it down, choosing instead to play the villainous Queen Gedren. It took Dino De Laurentiis almost a year to find an actress Amazonian enough to play the title character. Apparently, he was still looking 8 weeks before the scheduled production was to start when he discovered Bridget Nielsen, who was on the cover of a fashion magazine. And then the rest, of course, is history. The musical score of Red Sonja was composed and conducted by Ennio Morricone. So that was quite cool too, because he does great soundtrack work. There was allegedly a remake in the works, though it's been in development hell for some time now. The critical response for Red Sonja is that the film received generally negative critics from the negative reviews from the critics. Rotten Tomatoes currently gives this film a 21%. Schwarzenegger, I was really surprised to read this, but Schwarzenegger said, quote, "It's the worst film I have ever made," he joked. "Now I tell my kids that if they get out of line, they'll be forced to watch Red Sonja 10 times in a row. He said, it must be working because I've never had any trouble with them," unquote. So I guess Ernie's not a fan of this film, even though he's in it. My thoughts on this film, I thought it was quite cool. I just rewatched. I think I actually just watched this for the first time about 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, and then I rewatched it recently when I got this DVD version. This is an upgrade from VHS for me. I really like this movie. I would recommend this if you like the Conan movies and you want a little bit more. You want to go back to that world. Here's another little taste of that Iberian age or whatever. But it is a bit different. It's, Red Sonja is the lead character, so it's a bit of a different take on the genre, but still a great film, and highly recommend it. The music was great. The acting is a little wooden, but it is a fantasy film from 1985, so you got to give it a bit of slack. But the characters were likable. Schwarzenegger was likable in this as well, even though he's not Conan. He kind of is Conan a bit, but this edition is a DVD from 2004 from Turner Pictures, I guess this is. Warner Brothers, yeah. The special features are just a trailer, that's all that's on here. We'll take a look inside. It's the same as the cover art. Just kind of zoomed in a bit. But yeah, this is the DVD version. I don't know if this has a Blu-ray or 4K, but and I haven't seen this out and about in the wild. This is the only time I've seen it. So you can currently watch this rent it on Apple TV, Google Play, and Amazon Prime. That's my thoughts on Red Sonja. Did you like this movie? Leave your comments below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I will see you at the video store or at the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. But until then, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.